This episode of the Quantum Space Innovating Trust podcast is brought to you in association with VBOO Systems, pioneers in software protection and licensing technologies. Together, we've produced Sovereign by Design, a new white paper exploring how Europe can secure its digital future in the post-quantum era. Download it now at thequantumspace.org and visit vboo.com to learn more about their trusted innovation in cybersecurity.
Welcome to the Quantum Space Innovating Trust. I'm Steve Atkins, and today we're doing something a little different and a whole lot bigger. In the lead up to TRUSTECH, we've created a special 3-part editorial series on a subject that almost never gets the spotlight, but quietly keeps the entire digital world running: smart cards, secure elements, the hardware trust anchors that sit beneath payments, identity, telecoms, mobility, and every modern authentication system you can name. This is the invisible infrastructure. And despite being underestimated for decades, it's now becoming more important than ever. In part 1, we looked at the scale of the ecosystem, how smart cards became the most successful deployment of cryptography in human history, and why they still underpin global identity, payments, telecoms, and mobility. In part 2, we went deep into the supply chain, the silicon, the card operating systems, the security labs and certification regimes, the European companies that build and still dominate this trust stack. And in part 3, we looked forward: quantum migration, composite cryptography, artificial intelligence identity, embedded secure elements, and why the next decade of digital trust will rely even more on hardware than the last 3 combined. Together, these 3 parts paint a picture of global security ecosystem that's often ignored precisely because it works so well. Cards may look simple, chips may look small, but the architecture beneath them is one of the most advanced trust systems ever engineered. And as TRUSTECH gathers the world's identity, payment, and secure technology community in Paris, this series asks a simple question: what happens to our digital world if the invisible infrastructure falters? And more importantly, how do we strengthen it for the quantum AI-driven era ahead? So today, we're doing a deep dive through all 3 parts, pulling out the insights that matter and showing how the humble smart card has become both the past and the future of trusted digital systems. So join me and let's dive in.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are shining a light on something you probably interact with multiple times a day: the quiet engine of global commerce, security, and identity that you probably never even think about.
You really don't.
We are diving deep into the technology of the smart card. You know, that tiny little chip in your credit card, the SIM that keeps your phone connected, or the core of your national ID.
Right.
Now, here's a central claim we've distilled from our source material, and it's pretty surprising.
This is...
Despite decades of tech hype saying, the cloud will kill it, mobile will kill it, the smart card is still the strongest, most essential root of trust on the planet.
Absolutely. This isn't just a piece of plastic we're talking about.
It's infrastructure.
Yeah.
Critical, underappreciated global infrastructure.
That's the key distinction. I mean, when people talk about global platforms, what do they think of?
Software giants, cloud companies.
Exactly. But the scale of this smart card ecosystem, what we're calling the quiet empire, it anchors trust across every critical sector: payments, ID, telecoms, even transport.
It serves billions of people.
Billions. And it maintains security guarantees that pure software solutions, well, they just can't replicate at that scale.
So our mission in this deep dive is to really map out the resilience of this technology.
Yep. So first, we'll explore why they've managed to endure. What is that unique mix of security and scale?
And we'll get into the engineering. We're going to peel back the layers on what's inside that little chip.
And finally, we'll look at how this industry is already tackling these, frankly, existential challenges. Things like quantum computing and the rising need for machine identity, especially for AI.
Okay, let's start with just the sheer magnitude of this thing. When you realize where this tech is the absolute backbone, not just, something on the side,
Yeah.
the scale is breathtaking.
It really is.
Let's start with payments. That's the most common way most of us touch this technology.
Right. In payments, we're talking about chips that follow the EMV security model.
EMV, that's Europay, MasterCard, and Visa.
That's the one. It's the global standard, basically the rule book for that chip. And these chips, they're the majority of payment cards issued worldwide. They process trillions of transactions every year.
And the power of that chip isn't just that it holds your account number like the old mag stripe. The sources really emphasize this.
Yeah.
It's having a secure, one-time cryptographic conversation every time you tap or insert your card.
A conversation is a great way to put it. It's not passive. Unlike that easily copied magnetic stripe, when you interact with the chip, the secure element is generating a unique, one-time cryptogram.
Which is like a digital signature.
Basically, yeah.
Yep.
It's signing the transaction data. And this is the crucial part. The private key needed to create that signature never, ever leaves the hardware.
Never.
Never. That key isolation is what just completely revolutionized security and cut card-present fraud globally.
Okay, that sounds incredibly secure. But hold on. Haven't we seen huge progress in software security? Like biometric authentication on our smartphones. So why can't a purely digital solution, secured by the cloud in my face, replace the need for this little physical hardware anchor?
That is a critical question, and it comes down to what you're proving. Biometric authentication proves you are using the device.
Right, it proves it's me.
But the smart card's security model proves the authenticity and integrity of the credential itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
The card, not the person.
Exactly. And it proves the card is following specific, non-exportable key usage rules. A software-only wallet without that hardware anchor is a huge impersonation target because the key could, in theory, be extracted, or the software itself could be tampered with.
That's a huge distinction. Okay, so moving beyond finance, the entire telecom world runs on this too.
Completely. The SIM card, the subscriber identity module, whether it's the physical one you pop in or an embedded eSIM.
It's just a smart card.
It's just a smart card in a different package built for telcos. It's the security anchor for network access across the globe. It runs these highly sensitive authentication protocols. If SIM security gets compromised, well, the entire global cellular network is at risk.
Wow. And then you have things that need to last, like a national ID card in Europe or Asia that's designed to be valid for 10 years or more.
That kind of longevity, it requires extreme predictability. Governments need credentials that will resist threats that haven't even been invented yet.
And cloud systems need constant updates.
Right. A secure ID card has to work reliably at a border crossing 10 years from now, maybe with no network connection at all.
And that brings us to transport. Places like London, Singapore, Dubai, these massive high-throughput systems. Why do they still rely on physical cards?
One single quality that no cloud solution can consistently deliver in that kind of environment. Guaranteed offline operation. Imagine rush hour at a subway station. That turnstile has to process thousands of people a minute. It can't wait for even a few milliseconds of network latency to check with a central server.
It would grind to a halt.
Instantly. The smart card carries the keys and the logic to approve the transaction right there, locally and securely. It just works for years with no updates, no network.
So it's that combination, physical tamper resistance, works offline, super strict governance, and all that standardization.
That's it. That's why the cardless future predictions just keep failing. The card itself might disappear, but its security principles, they just dissolve into the foundation of everything else we're building.
Okay, so since that security all comes down to the hardware, let's zoom in. The core component is the secure element, which the source material calls the smallest high-security computer you know.
I love that description.
So what makes this tiny little chip so fundamentally secure compared to, say, the main processor in my phone?
Well, the processor in your phone is built for speed, for flexibility. A secure element is a dedicated circuit that is designed from the ground up to resist hostility. It's not about power, it's about defiance.
Defiance, I like that.
It has hardware engines specifically for cryptography to make sure the algorithms run correctly and the keys are truly random.
And the whole design is based on surviving attacks from, very smart, well-funded people, right? So give us an example. How does it resist a physical threat?
Okay, so attackers don't just try to guess a password. They will literally try to probe the chip with microscopic needles or use really sophisticated techniques to bypass security controls.
Right.
So the secure element has countermeasures. Things like a metallic shield, internal security meshes that will literally wipe the memory if they're breached, and, this is the really cool part, countermeasures against side channel attacks.
Side channel attacks. Okay, that sounds like something out of a spy movie. Break that down for us.
Think of it this way. Instead of trying to break a safe's lock, you're listening to the little clicks the tumblers make while it's opening. Ah, I see. A side channel attack is similar. It involves measuring things like the chip's power consumption, or the precise timing of its calculations, or even the electromagnetic waves coming off it while it's doing a transaction.
And those tiny little physical details can leak information about the secret key.
They can leak everything. So the secure element is engineered to sort of normalize all those signals. It flattens them out so the attacker just sees useless noise. It's security by making the internal process invisible from the outside.
That is incredible. A defensive measure built right into the physics of the chip.
Exactly.
And this super defensive hardware, it must need an equally disciplined operating system on top of it.
It does. A card OS is not built for running a bunch of different apps. It's built for one thing: formal assurance and correctness.
Right. No flexibility, just rules.
Just rules. Its only job is to rigidly enforce how keys are created, stored, and used, and how applications are kept separate from each other. Whether it's something modular like Java Card or a proprietary OS for a national ID, it has to be predictable for a decade or more.
But the real trust, the bedrock of this whole thing, that happens in the supply chain and the certification culture, which is totally invisible to me as a user.
Totally. And we have to talk about common criteria security evaluations. These devices often get the highest assurance levels, like EL5+, or even EL6+ FES.
Okay, so what does EL6+ actually mean in the real world?
It means the entire security architecture has been formally verified, and it means that independent testing labs have spent months, literally many months, with sophisticated equipment trying to break the device.
Trying to break it.
Deliberately, they use heat, they use voltage glitches, they even shoot lasers at it. They are trying to force the chip to malfunction in a way that makes it leak its secrets.
So when a bank or a government issues one of these cards, they're trusting a process where a bunch of really smart people have tried basically everything to compromise it and failed.
Exactly. That level of rigor is it's rare outside of like the defense or aerospace industries. And that trust goes all the way up the supply chain, from the silicon fab to the OS loading and key injection, which happens in these secure caged facilities, all the way to personalization. The supply chain itself is part of the security model.
Which brings us to this fascinating geopolitical point from the sources, the European advantage.
Yeah.
In a tech world that we think of as dominated by the US and China, why is this specific secure hardware considered a matter of strategic sovereignty? And why is Europe the one in charge here?
It's really striking when you look at it. The vast majority of the IP, the secure element manufacturing, the OS development, it's all controlled by European companies.
You're talking Thales, IDEMIA, G+D, Infineon, NXP.
Those are the big ones, and that gives Europe critical leverage. The ability to make, certify, and distribute these trust anchors means your national payment and identity systems aren't dependent on technology from a country that might not be an ally tomorrow.
So secure hardware is a strategic asset.
It's a crucial strategic asset for digital sovereignty, absolutely.
So the story here really isn't about the smart card dying. It's about its core security principle, just dissolving into everything else. The plastic card might vanish, replaced by an eSIM or a mobile wallet, but that secure element architecture, that lives on.
It becomes the blueprint.
The blueprint for securing IoT devices, cars, everything.
The trend is absolutely toward embedded security. The secure element is moving deeper into a car's systems to verify firmware, into little IoT sensors, into digital wallets. It's protecting the crown jewels of the device itself.
But this entire industry, which is built on decades of cryptographic trust, is now staring down the barrel of the biggest threat imaginable, quantum computing. So what's the threat exactly? And why do they have to deal with it right now?
The threat is fundamental. The math problems that our current public key crypto is based on, things like RSA and elliptic curve cryptography, or ECC, a powerful quantum computer, will just solve them.
It breaks the encryption.
It shatters it. And since a national ID or a payment card has to stay secure for 3, 5, maybe 10 years, and since quantum computers are forecast to arrive within that window,
the keys being issued today have to be quantum-proof.
they have to be future-proof.
Exactly. So if the card's lifespan is longer than the crypto's lifespan, what's the solution coming out of this ecosystem?
The solution is a really smart methodology called composite cryptography.
Composite.
Yeah, so instead of just ripping out the old crypto and replacing it, smart cards are being designed to run both. They'll run the classical algorithms like ECC for backwards compatibility, and they'll run the new post-quantum cryptography or PQC algorithms at the same time.
So a card generates two signatures for everything.
It generates a composite signature using both methods. This gives you a gradual, reliable transition path. The infrastructure can catch up while the security stays intact. Germany's already doing proofs of concept for PQC-ready ID cards. It's happening in hardware first.
That brings us to the newest need then, AI identity. We are moving so fast into a world where autonomous systems of algorithms are going to be acting as agents in our economy and society.
They will, and they'll need trust.
Right. So how do you establish trust in a machine agent? AI models are just software. They're easy to copy. Their behavior can be faked.
A software-only signature can't prove provenance. It can't prove integrity. It just proves someone had access to the code.
So the solution is the same one we came up with for the credit card. The AI agent needs a digital identity anchored in non-exportable hardware.
Exactly. AI systems, whether it's a governance algorithm or an autonomous car, they need non-exportable crypto keys stored inside a trusted, secure element.
And that guarantees the system is who it says it is, and it's running the code it's supposed to be running.
It guarantees identity and integrity. The principles of hardware-backed trust that were perfected by the smart card, they become the definitive template for trusted machine identity. And probably for AI governance frameworks, too.
The overall shift is really clear then.
Yep.
Identity is fragmenting across our phones, our documents, our devices, and now these intelligent agents. And it's moving away from purely cloud-based models toward these much more robust hybrid and embedded systems.
The future of trust is embedded. It needs a physical boundary, a place where keys are protected from both physical and remote attacks. The genius of the smart card was perfecting that concept in a tiny, cheap, ubiquitous package. So to kind of synthesize all this, the smart card isn't a relic. It's the silent, evolving foundation of the digital future.
Right.
The big challenges of this next digital wave, quantum security, machine authenticity, geopolitical trust, they're all pushing us back towards hardware-backed security. The principles this industry built, that discipline, that rigor, that's going to influence everything from national sovereignty to how we design autonomous technologies.
So here's where it gets really interesting. Considering that this idea, this concept of hardware-backed trust, is moving from the chip in your credit card to the operating system of an AI agent or an autonomous vehicle. Just think about the implications.
Yeah.
The integrity of our critical national infrastructure, or the decisions made by some complex governance algorithm, may soon depend entirely on whether it contains a certified, tamper-resistant, secure element. A tiny, powerful chip descended directly from the one in your wallet. That is the invisible infrastructure that is shaping the security of our lives. So here's something for you to mull on. Given the strategic importance of this hardware and the fact that the supply chain is so heavily concentrated in a few European companies, how might future geopolitical alignments shift?
That's the question.
How does that change as our reliance on this foundational root of trust accelerates for AI and for post-quantum systems? It's a quiet empire, but it's holding massive and often overlooked strategic weight.
Well, that brings us to the end of this special episode, and to the end of our three-part TRUSTECH series on the invisible infrastructure that holds the digital world together. If there's one idea to take away, it is this. Trust is becoming a hardware challenge again. And the secure element philosophy that began with smart cards is now expanding into everything. Not only payment and national identity systems, but telecom networks, industrial devices, connected vehicles, and even the way we authenticate AI agents. The smart card was never just a piece of plastic. It was the first mass market expression of a much deeper idea that will define the next decade of digital trust. That cryptography is only as strong as the environment that holds its key. As we move into the quantum era, as AI becomes an independent actor, and as digital identity spreads across devices and systems, the principles that made smart cards resilient will become the blueprint for secure hardware everywhere. If you want to read the full three-part series or explore the supporting analysis, head to thequantumspace.org. where you'll find all the articles, reference material, and future updates. And if you're in Paris at TRUSTECH, keep an eye on the exhibitors who are building the trust anchors of tomorrow. They might not have the flashiest booths, but they are building the infrastructure the rest of us rely upon, whether we notice it or not. You've been listening to the Quantum Space Innovating Trust. I'm Steve Atkins. Thanks for joining me. I will be back soon with more deep dives into the technologies shaping the next chapter of secure digital life. This was Innovating Trust, a quantum space podcast edited and produced by Crown Communications.